Hello, everyone. I see people are already joining. We are giving you guys just a little bit more time to get online and then we will start. In the meanwhile, we would love to know where you are from. So if you find at the bottom the chat section, then we'd be really happy to hear where are you joining from today and say hi. Maybe if you want to, you can share what business are you running or what are your aims. So we want fun to hear from you, and we'll give everybody just a little bit more time to get you on, and then we will start. All right. Hi, Arjun, all the way from India. And we got people from Spain, Belgium, oh, Zambia. That's far away. Colombia. Welcome. We have just recently started issuing e-residency in two mobile missions to South America. So welcome, Colombians. We got UK, Brazil, Turkey, Georgia. Cool. Nigeria. So let's wait just a few more minutes and then we can start. All right. Very nice to have you all at the E-Residency live Q&A for September. My name is Ülane, and at the E-Residency team, I work as the team lead for our business development team. Previously, myself, I have actually been a founder. I ran a number of tourism businesses for 15 years. So I'm not only speaking from e-residency point of view, but also as a former entrepreneur myself. So happy to be here today. With me, I have Katrin Taho. Katrin wants to say a few words about herself.
Yeah, hello everyone. I'm Katrin, and with me today is here also Priitan, and we are here to represent the company Incorpora. Together, we bring more than 30 years of experience in this business. I focus on supporting clients with a wide range of corporate matters, while Priitan is our trusted advisor and an expert in international corporate structuring.
Very nice to have you. And for those who are listening, then Incorpora is one of our private sector ecosystem partners. So very happy to have them here and add their expertise to mine. A few housekeeping things for today. So in the Zoom tabs, we have two different tabs, which I want you to really keep track that you don't put things in the wrong one. So please use the chat to talk to each other. So the chat's main purpose is to connect, say hi, let us know where you're from, let others know where you're from. But we will be answering questions as we go. And for this, we use the Q&A tab. So it's the Q&A tab, which is really important that that you add your question there, because this allows us to actually keep track of the questions that you ask, who has gotten their answer, and really make sure that we choose the good ones to answer live as well. We are having on the background a couple of people from the team also answering questions in written form, but we will be discussing them also live here today. So let's continue. So we have by large, we have three topics here to cover. We will talk about when and why, when to consider setting up your EU company, your EU headquarters. Then we'll talk about starting a company in Estonia specifically and how e-residency helps to do that. And then we will talk about taxes and cross-border taxing in quite brief level. If you need more detail, then obviously you should talk to an expert. Just a reminder again, if somebody has joined just last minute, that if you have any questions that you'd like to ask, then please drop them in the Q&A section, not the chat window. We are not going to answer the questions in the chat window. We are only going to answer the questions in the Q&A window. All right. So just to give you a background about our partners here, Incorpora can introduce a little bit about their services and their company as well.
Yeah, sure. So at Incorpora, we offer a full range of tailor-made corporate, accounting, and back office support services. So as well as advice on corporate structuring. Whether you need assistance with setting up a company in Estonia, ongoing administration, managing its operations, or even handling a future liquidation, we provide end-to-end solutions. And we think that since every business is unique, our goal is to design solutions that fit your specific needs and help you make the right choices for your corporate structure. So this is why we are here for you and happy to help you in these questions anytime you need.
Mhm. Thank you very much, Katrin. And you will receive the slides after this webinar as well. So Incorpora's contact information will be on here as well. So if you want to discuss your specific situation with them, then these are the contact details. Right. So, as most people here joining today are from non-EU countries, as I noticed, this was our aim today to discuss specifically how to set up your HQ in EU when the time comes. And on the e-residency team, I am in charge of most of our non-EU markets. So I frequently go to the UK, and I have a lot of UK e-residents in my portfolio, as well as Ukrainians, US-based companies, and this is what I do the most. I actually talk to founders about their expansion to the EU. And when you should start thinking about this, and obviously this depends on real life situations when a company reaches a certain stage. But just some things to keep in mind when you have wanted to serve European clients, then there definitely exists some kind of home bias in business. What this means is that it's been shown with different surveys that European companies and governments they favor local and domestic suppliers. So to be able to work with clients in EU, you might want to consider actually setting up here. Then there's a matter of like trust and public opinion as well. So especially in sectors where it's either like critical technology or it's a strategically important sector, it's definitely something where being in the same regulatory framework, being in the same legislation legally is quite important for buyers. So if you are, for example, in things like health or defense, cybersecurity, then definitely it comes earlier for you to be set up in the same jurisdiction as your customers or buyers. Uh, EU is, although it is a single market, theoretically, there is a lot of red tape for the outsiders. So there's definitely some hoops you have to jump through, whether it's getting certifications for your physical products, complying with certain EU standards or environmental requirements. So definitely a EU company has an easier time actually, doing those things, getting those things approved. And one more aspect, obviously, is to man your company with the right talent. If you're expanding and wanting to sell to the EU, then you may know or have heard that the international hiring is actually quite a hassle. So you might want to set up a local office that can actually really service the market. But if you look at Europe as a whole, I always like to start with this example that very often looking at European countries, the biggest markets, the biggest countries with the biggest population stand out as the very attractive markets for everybody's products and services. But those countries also very often may not be the best places where to run your business efficiently from. This is one of my favorite examples that not all European countries are equal when it comes to starting companies and running your companies. For example, documentation of a Series A investment round in Germany looks like this. Each of the participants in the transaction will receive 800 printed pages. And not only all of those pages will be actually read live in the notary. So when it comes to digitization, then definitely not all European countries are equal to each other. So we like to really kind of emphasize that Estonia is one of those countries in Europe that stands out in terms of low red tape, fully digital society, and many other attractive things for entrepreneurs. For those of you that are from very far away, just as a little introduction, Estonia is a very small country with only 1.3 million people. We have about 50% of the country covered with forest, and we have a ton of islands and lakes. But also we have 100% of our public services online, which means that in this country, it's literally possible to do everything with the help of a digital identity and computer. It's been at 99% for a while now. It's really 100%. And also we have 10 unicorns that have grown out of this country of 1 million people. So this is something quite remarkable and kind of characterizes Estonia as a country that's very pro-business. So why should Estonia be your gateway to Europe? We consider those four things to be the main aspects that every entrepreneur, I think, considers important. First of all, ease. Running a company in a country where different activities can be done by just signing everything digitally or filing things online is definitely a lot easier than in countries where you have to visit certain government offices every once in a while. So ease is a big thing in Estonia. There's high trust in society, not only towards each other, but also towards digital services. And it's mainly because our digital identity is one of the safest, one of the securest ones in the whole EU, if not in the world. And it's possible to really avoid a lot of things like corruption or basically like the transparency and the fact that there's a digital footprint of everything that you do also in businesses is something that builds trust. Our digital commercial registry can provide you a really good basis for due diligence about your partners, about your clients. It's all very transparent. For those that are coming to EU either to raise money from private investors or from public grants to build a very innovative product, then Estonia definitely opens up a lot of those opportunities. We have seen a lot of very high-tech companies coming to Estonia because they have gotten maybe like a European Innovation Council grant or something else like that. So they need to be somewhere in Europe, and Estonia is one of their first choices. And no less important is actually the business community. This ecosystem in this country is very close-knit, very small. So when they talk about the world, they say that there is only 6 degrees of separation between you and whoever you would like to meet in the world. In Estonia, you can pretty much count on having just 1 degree of separation between you and another person you would like to meet for business. So it's very close-knit. It's very easy to get in touch with people, to learn from some of the best entrepreneurs and really take advantage of their experience. Just comparing different countries across not only Europe but the world and how quickly it takes to start a company. And in Estonia, we are proud that registering a company is really the actual act itself is really a 20-minute affair. We did a world record on London Tech Week stage a few years ago, and we put an e-resident from Austria on the stage who was registering a business in a live event. And he was able to do it in 15 minutes and 33 seconds, while the Wi-Fi stopped working 3 times in this process. So it's really, really quick. And it's not similar in other countries. But we don't like to prepare or compare ourselves to countries that maybe are not so forward thinking. So these countries are according to different charts, considered some of the higher ranking, more popular business environments. And what you can see here is that not only do we do well in this speed of getting your business up and running, but also in how easy it is also for a non-resident to do business in Estonia. Most countries that are famous for attracting a lot of business, such as, for example, Delaware in the US, they will have requirements for you as a non-resident to use, for example, an agent to do everything. We talk to UK entrepreneurs often, and thing they bring out about Ireland is the requirement to have a director who's a resident of EEA, so European Economic Area. You either have to have that person or you have to have an insurance bond in an equivalent of something like 25,000 euros, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So these requirements for non-resident make it's quite hard to enter. They provide certain barriers, and Estonia has really only just one mandatory little thing that we want from non-residents is that they use a licensed accounting firm to serve as their contact person, so that they would have somebody to rely on in terms of compliance and also to provide them with an Estonian address. So this is a very soft requirement. Also, really only Singapore comes close to the level of public services being fully online and streamlined with a digital identity card. And the general level of how much bureaucracy is there in the country is also very low. So there is this index that's calculated that how many hours does it take a small or medium-sized company per year to deal with their taxes. And in Estonia, that is about 50 hours a year. In all those countries, it's quite good, but there are countries in Europe where it's 300, 400 hours a year instead of 50. So this is just a comparison to keep in mind. And a few more little things to mention about Estonia is that the country has extremely low corruption, one of the lowest perceived corruption levels in all of former Eastern and or Eastern and Central European country, the whole bloc, and very strong rule of law. So this is something to keep in mind as well. And we have built a very thriving tech sector. We like to joke that we are the Silicon Valley of Europe because we have highest number of unicorns, which is a company that is valued at more than 1 billion euros per capita in Europe. We are also super international. So out of all of the startups that are in the Estonian startup database, about 38% of them have either one or more foreign founders who may or may not be e-residents. They might also be residents of Estonia already, but it's very international. So 38% of startups have a foreign founder. Startup visa is a really good additional service for bringing talent to Estonia. And this is something that allows non-EU founders who are building certain types of companies that have to be scalable and tech-based. They are able to relocate to Estonia personally as founders, really build their company here in this ecosystem. Or also for already existing companies to use this as a way of hiring talent from outside of the EU. Personally, I have used it as well. When I was building my startup, we actually brought a developer from Turkey to work in our company, and it was making the process way easier to be using the startup visa. And Estonia has a really good angel investment and venture capital concentration, which is actually in the recent years caused a situation where there is a lack of deal flow. So our Estonian investors are saying that there's not enough growth of new starting early stage companies. So this might be a hint for some of you who are building tech companies that Estonia does have enough capital to be invested. So talented foreign founders very welcome to come here. And we have some quite smart legislation for scaling companies, which I will talk about today a little bit later as well. But there are certain very useful simplifications to, for example, manage your own cap table from certain size of share capital and things like that. So maybe just as a quick stop to look at the questions that are in the Q&A section today. See if we can find something interesting that is about this. So Akshay is actually telling us about his company, which is really interesting, and I think one of the best things you could do actually, Akshay, is after this webinar today to book a call with me. At the end of the slides, you will have my contact, and if you would like to discuss it in more detail, either with me or also with Incorpora, then happy to hop on a call actually. So this is definitely possible. And yeah, and I guess it's the same person that is asking about the raising capital here. So we could definitely discuss this and see what the different venture capital firms, for example, are here to help you build what you're building, and see how we can help you. Anything you would like to answer from the questions, Katrin and Riitan?
Not for me at the moment, Britain, maybe.
Can leave the tax question to the end for Hanif when we're discussing
Yes, let's leave the tax. I see there is a VAT question here, right?
Yeah, exactly. So cool. So let's go into the details of actually how it works. So like I mentioned, Estonia has very low barrier for non-resident founders, and the reason why it's possible is because all of us here, we have a digital identity, which is essentially a smart card with double authentication. So we are able to securely log on to everything and represent ourselves as we would in real life with a passport and showing our other types of ID. So this is exactly what e-residency is. An e-residency is essentially a digital ID for non-residents, which Estonia has issued to allow access to people who don't live here or not citizens of the country to have the same access to Estonian e-services. Such as the commercial registry, the tax board, all of the business services, banks, telecoms, everybody uses the same login. It's also a secure digital signature. So there's plenty of people who use it just for signing. You might have a foreigner on the board or among investors of an Estonian-based company, and they would become an e-resident simply to have the same digital signing capability to be in the same infrastructure. And also, we have a quite global community of those foreign founders. There is 129,000 e-residents around the world. They are from almost every country of the world, and they are a pretty inspirational bunch to meet if you are an entrepreneur. But it's also important to understand what e-residency is not. And because of the name, it's sometimes confusing, but e-residency does not provide an actual document which you can use in real life because there will be no photo on it. You cannot use it to prove your identity in real life. It doesn't provide you with citizenship, visa, or residency permit to physically come to Estonia. So that's a very important distinction to make. It doesn't automatically give you tax residency, and it most definitely doesn't give you automatically a guarantee for a business or a personal bank account. The personal bank account anyway has nothing to do with e-residency status, but banks still have the right to choose their own customers. So why people become e-residents? The main reason usually is to start an EU-based company 100% online and to be able to manage it from anywhere in the world. So you are able to pretty much participate in the Estonian economy without physically being here. And also to digitally sign documents to the highest eIDAS standards. So it's equal to handwritten signature, and or join a community of our international entrepreneurs. Important thing to note is that e-residency is what an individual applies for. So e-residency is not given to your company, it is given to you as a founder to be able to prove who you are remotely. So in the application, you have to show substantial interest to using Estonian e-services and starting a company in Estonia. And it's not open to Estonian citizens or residents of Estonia. So if you are already here, or if you have already gotten a residency permit, or you live here, then there's no need for you to get e-residency as well, because e-residency is what you have when you don't live here, if that makes sense. We have restrictions on new applications from Russian and Belarusian citizens since the beginning of the war of Ukraine. So we don't issue those nationalities e-residency. And how it works is that you apply online. The issuing authority of your e-residency document is Police and Border Guard Board of Estonia. So it's the same institution that issues all of our passports. You fill out an online application, you pay the state fee of 150 euros, and then you wait for approval. On the background, we check your identity. We would like legitimate, honest entrepreneurs to enter our business environment. So there is a background check. And once the background check clears, then the card is being issued. It's being sent to the pickup location you chose. There are about 50 pickup locations around the world where you can get your e-residency cards. And the pickup has to happen in person. So you have to go to one of our embassies, and the embassy consul will actually verify that you are you and capture your fingerprints in the process as well. And even though this may seem a little bit lengthy, altogether, depending on where you're located, it may take 3 to 8 weeks to actually get your ID. After that, everything is very, very quick. So starting a company is then possible, like, really in a half an hour. These are some of our pickup locations where Estonian embassies are based. And we also have a couple of new mobile locations. So we do digital, we do actually like mobile consular missions to 2 locations in South America, to Buenos Aires and Sao Paulo. And we also do them to Bangkok for a lot of people who are maybe residing there, if temporarily even. So it's possible to get e-residency from quite a lot of places in the world. So just, as a technical or legal name of what you have to then establish is that the Estonian limited liability company is called OÜ, which is essentially, an LTD. And it is the most popular business form. It's possible to start one alone or with multiple co-founders. It allows a lot of flexibility. It has a simple online registration process, and this is typically the choice to make for anybody who starts a business in Estonia. The share capital requirement starts from 1 euro cent per shareholder. So this is the minimum, but your liability will still be 2,500 euros, even if you pay in a lot less in real cash. But there's also this 10,000 euro simplified cap table management. So what it makes possible is that if you show capability of putting down a larger share capital, which also increases your liability, obviously, but it makes you more trustworthy. Then from this point on, you're able to make changes to your ownership structure based on non-notary approved documents, and you're able to make those changes yourself. Estimated costs, already mentioned the document fee of 150 euros per shareholder. Then you register a limited liability company. 265 euros is the state fee. If you use a service provider, then they may add a little bit on top of that to help you with your documents. And then to have a contact person service in Estonia, it's roughly between 200 and 400 euros a year. And then based on how many transactions you have every month, you pay starting from 60 euros a month and up for accounting, depending on how much volume you have. So roughly, to do it yourself with a single founder, these are the costs. And if you also need the accounting support from the beginning, then it starts from higher. Now, something to explain here, as we are talking about like an EU headquarters today as a kind of a special edition or special topic. Something to note is that as an e-resident, it's really easy to register a company online with no papers needed if you register a company as a private individual, as shareholder. So if you need the Estonian company to be a subsidiary or daughter company of your US-based or UK-based company, then there are a few more nuances to consider here. Because e-residency can prove your identity online, but it cannot prove that you're actually able to start the subsidiary in the name of your foreign company. So for this, there's more documentation that is needed. So the main way, if you want to have the ownership structure between two, my slides just stopped working for some reason. So if you need to do it as a subsidiary, then typically what you do is you'd get in touch with one of our service providers and still use a notary to do the establishment. So you'd give power of attorney to our service providers. Or you could also physically come to Estonia if you have the time and you are certain that you are able to gather all the necessary documents with the help of your own lawyers. That's also obviously possible, but maybe a little bit tedious way of doing it. And one thing to note is that even though the word notary sounds maybe scary, then Estonian notaries are accessible online. So thanks to the fact that you have a digital identity, you are actually able to have a notary appointment and sign documents online just the same way as physical residents of Estonia would. But you still probably can make good use of talking to somebody who is like in corpora to help you make sure that the documents of establishing a subsidiary are all correct and you don't have to do it several times. There is also a workaround which is very often used in my experience in the startup world, which is basically the same 10,000 euro share capital. And what this allows to do is that if you are in a bigger hurry or for some reason you don't want to go through the whole hassle of the notary appointment, then if you register a company as private individuals with 10,000 euro share capital, and then you're able to sell it to your US-based, UK-based, whatever other country-based mother company, and remove the requirement for notary approvals from your articles of association. So this may seem a little bit complicated. It's a very technical thing, but this was something that will make it possible to change the share structure of the company in a very easy way. And it's often used by startups that need to, for example, include new investors. So they do it because once you have international VC funds, somebody in the US, then it's very hard to do a notary appointment anyway. So very recommended way of approaching this topic. And of course, there's more aspects or different ways of doing it. Sometimes you issue new shares to actually to allocate those to the foreign company. So there's more options which you can discuss with somebody who is a specialist in structuring. So next question obviously always comes is that how does the banking work? And to most e-residents, we actually recommend to start with a fintech account. Why fintech? Because fintechs have a full online onboarding procedure for their business customers. So they pull in the data from the business registry. They'd be opening your account, maybe in a day, and it's really simple. We have a really wide choice of partners that we work with. They are all on our marketplace, and it's the most popular way to actually get your business up and running, and you're able to start invoicing and actually receiving transfers from your clients right away. Always check, of course, the onboarding conditions of each fintech separately, because financial institutions have a different risk appetite. Some of them may be onboarding from certain markets only. Some may be onboarding from a wider range of countries. So always check. If you bring your physical office to Estonia and you actually have people on the ground here, then Estonian banks will welcome you as a client as well. What the commercial banks want to see is that you have connection to the country. So if you are already hiring locally, if you have clients here, partners here, then that's when you become eligible for an Estonian bank to work with you. Two of our main partners are LHV and Co-op Bank, which are both Estonian based. We work closely with them, but it's not a good option to somebody who doesn't have any business on the ground yet in Estonia. And an option that is maybe not utilized often enough is that if you have a good client relationship in another bank in EEA, then as far as the Estonian state goes, there's no requirement to have specifically an Estonian bank account. So if you have a good relationship in your, Belgian bank or Portuguese bank, then they actually might be willing to open the account for your Estonian company as well. So this is something to consider, and maybe it's sometimes a better option for you. But how to then become an eligible client for Estonian commercial banks? Then this is something that is definitely easy to do when you are building a real physical office in Estonia. So if you hire people in Estonia, there's a couple of pros of why you should do it here rather than do it in another country. Estonia in general is a quite employer-friendly country. Looking at EU countries alone, there's different conditions, ranging from how much time you have for probation period to see whether the employee can actually achieve results in your company, to how long you have to let them know if you have to let them go, and all these aspects make hiring across EU quite complicated. Estonia is one of those quite liberal economies where it's easy to do. We have very well-defined labor laws, and because all of our government websites are in English, then a foreign founder is able to actually read those laws as well themselves, because they're all translated into English, which may not be the case in many European countries. We have fully digital payrolling. You register your employees online yourself in the e-tax board. The local workforce is highly skilled. Most of us speak great English, and some of us even other languages. The salary levels are reasonable compared to Western European countries. Not cheap by any means, but reasonable compared to Western Europe, for example. But we still have very, very strong work ethic. We are, one of those countries where it's you can trust people when they promise they do something, they will do it. And no less important is that we have quite a few government services that actually support also onboarding foreign workforce. So my colleagues here at the Estonian Innovation and Business Agency are responsible for example, introduction programs to Estonian culture and society to foreign employees. They support companies in hiring foreign workforce. They help the employees who are relocating to Estonia to find all the different services that they need, and it's quite streamlined and easy to do. From our side, from the E-Residency team side, we consider it our responsibility to support those foreign founders who are starting a company in a jurisdiction that's not their home. And what we have put together is an online marketplace of all the necessary services that you may need at every step of the way. So on our marketplace, you'll find over 140 expert business service providers, such as our partners here today, who are able to help you with all of the back office administration, including payroll, including accounting, making changes to your corporate structure, all of those things. We want to emphasize that for foreign founders, it is mandatory to work with one of the licensed service providers. And it's not only a condition, but it's also something in your own protection, because then you always have somebody who can help you with knowing your obligations here on the Estonia side. So for everybody who is a non-resident, the contact person service is something that you have to have. But those companies can help you with everything else as well. And there are tons of reviews. You can check, you can compare them, you can compare pricing level. So it's easy to choose the one that fits your needs the best. So let's take a few questions from the Q&A. There was questions about very good. So please explain the 10,000 euro capital investment again. So essentially, if you start a company, it's possible to do it by putting down just 1 euro cent as the initial share capital. The minimum liability of the shareholders is still 2,500 euros as the minimum baseline. So let's say your company ends up, I don't know, owing somebody money, then that's still your liability as shareholders, is the 2,500 euros. However, if you start the company right away with 10,000 euros of share capital, so as a whole, then that showcases higher liability. You're willing to be responsible for more collectively as shareholders. And what this allows to do is to have this simplified way of buying and selling the shares in your company. So you're able to specify in your articles of association that this company has removed the requirement of notary approvals, and you can then do it just by the management board members changing the percentages who owns how many shares in the company online. So this is something that makes trading with equity a lot easier. Maybe Priiten or Katrin have a comment on this as well, but it's something that in the startup tech field I see a lot, and I have seen that this has been very attractive to a lot of companies.
Yes, this is used quite much. Especially if the company has many shareholders, then it is very convenient way to involve new shareholders and to transfer current shares to other shareholders.
So there's also was asked about can we keep our bank account in another country in EU? Yes. So Katrin, you want to comment?
Yes, it is not obligatory to have the bank account opened in Estonia. And we always recommend our clients to have like several accounts, active accounts, because nowadays you never know what may happen to a payment institution or bank. So then you have backup. So yes, the answer is yes, you can have a bank account opened anywhere in the world. It is not obligatory to have it in Estonia.
I would like to add to this that if you use the Estonian company for your portfolio management or asset management, then some of our clients they insist that we help them to open a bank account in one of the safe havens in Europe, which is either Luxembourg, Switzerland, and Liechtenstein. And we work with those banks and open Estonian company corporate accounts in those banks on weekly basis, basically, and they welcome Estonian companies, such private banks in those countries.
And also a good question maybe for Katrin and Priiten to answer for HUD team. How easy is to sell the Estonian company to another company based outside the EU, i.e. in UK? Can it become a subsidiary of the UK company without much hassle?
There are several options. So to choose the right option for you, you are welcome to contact us and we advise you further. But yes, it is easy process. It can be done through the notary, or there are also some other options, and we can discuss this already after the webinar if you contact us.
Okay. Yes, Diane, I think your conclusion is correct that as somebody, starting a company alone, this 10,000 euro share capital thing doesn't really change anything in your life. Most likely, if you're not including outside capital, you're not raising investments, then this is something that is mainly if you have to deal with a lot of counterparts in the future.
I have this general question here. In which fields of activity the Estonian company can act? So in all activities which are legal, so these activities in which you are good at, in which you are experienced. So again, if you have some plans with your Estonian company, give us a call and we can advise you, because some activities may require license in Estonia. So it should be regarded before you act in any field of activity. If any field of activity needs license or any permit, or you can act in such fields of activity without any permissions. But yes, all activities need to be legal like everywhere else in the world.
And maybe Gord's question is also, it's a little bit more complicated, but I'll read it out. Although based in the US as a social purpose corporation, we intend to launch in the UK, EU versus the US, as open banking and open finance are much further ahead. And we are looking to work with developer teams in the EU. Would it make sense to create an EU entity first and then the UK entity next? We do need a UK entity created to work with the data aggregator there, licensed by the FCA. So I guess this is a question of business goals rather than structuring, right? So what is more urgent to you? Applying for e-residency takes a little bit of time. So like to get that going, you might want to start the process anyway already. And then starting the company is just, very quick. So you might just push the ball rolling and start it already. And UK is quite easy as well. Although they have introduced just recently more requirements for non-residents as well, so something to worth reading about. But it really depends. Like if you need both, like you're going to need both, then both of these have to be just treated as a business question of what you need to achieve with having this business. All right, and shall we move on to then the tax questions, and maybe some more questions will pop up about that. So by and large, these are the different aspects of taxes that you have to keep in mind or be aware about. So first of all, your own personal income tax as a founder will always be declared where you are a tax resident. So as an individual, usually your residency depends on where you live for the good part of the year, over 183 days or whatever that is. Oh, sorry. Then you have to think about your corporate income tax, and your corporate income tax is declared where company is registered and or has permanent establishment. I saw somebody already asking about permanent establishment, so we can elaborate a little bit more about this topic. Then social taxes from your employees' salaries obviously are always declared where your employees are registered as tax residents. So this is a complexity to keep in mind, that if your company is registered in one country and you really want to hire talent in a different country, then that will create like an extra layer of complexity. So that's why there are a lot of EOR services that have been popping up, which are essentially companies who aim to solve this problem for you, that you can hire somebody who's based somewhere else, and they will do the compliance and the how you can pay taxes in that country in a very easy way. And then VAT obviously is something you have to keep in mind in Europe as well. So there usually there's the VAT rules and laws are probably one of the most complex ones actually out of all the taxes. So there's many aspects to, like, who business to business or business to consumer, where do the goods travel from, like all of those questions. But by and large, different countries have a different threshold when you have to register as a VAT payer. You have to be aware and separate your own taxes from the taxes of your company. So there are different things that you have to keep in mind. And why we talked about the permanent establishment is that even though your company is registered in Estonia, you have to also think in advance strategically how you're going to make sure that most of your activity that is really happening in real life is also going to be in Estonia. So countries have agreed that laws have to stop people from creating empty shell entities in other jurisdictions. So there are laws stopping you from doing that, and that's why you want to make sure that you actually bring as much substance to Estonia as possible. So where do e-residents pay companies taxes? So just to make it kind of like very, very basic, when you register an Estonian company, Estonia considers it first a tax resident of Estonia automatically upon registration. However, if you conduct most of your business actually in a completely different country, then that may create permanent establishment or like a physical place of business in another country, which may mean that you might have tax liabilities there as well. E-residency doesn't automatically equal tax residency. It's also very important to understand that if you have a Estonian company, that doesn't mean automatically equation work between tax residency. And it also doesn't exempt you from tax liabilities in other countries. However, Estonia does have 60 plus double tax treaties with different countries. So if you are distributing profit from an Estonian company, then if you are a resident in a country with which we have double tax avoidance treaty, then at least on the same type of income, you shouldn't be paying taxes twice. So this is in theory a very simple overview of what the international taxation means for you. But we always urge e-residents to talk to a tax expert on those matters rather than listen to other people on social media networks. So this is something to also keep in mind. But why you want to take advantage of Estonia as much as you can is because Estonia has one of the most competitive tax codes in the world. As we have minimal regulation and generally, compared to a lot of countries, decently low rates. Our tax system is very, very simple. So compared to many countries, it's actually not something that is really hard to navigate through, but it's easy and comprehensible. And the corporate income tax system supports growth of companies. What this means is that until you are growing your company and you're not in the stage yet where you want to pay out profits, but you keep reinvesting those profits, you use the money to grow your company further, then profits are not annually taxed. So no tax on reinvested or retained profits. But once you get to a phase where you want to pay out the profit to shareholders, then that's when Estonia taxes profits. And it is 22% on the gross distribution amount. Estonia is one of the first countries to fully take their tax declaring system online. It actually happened already in the year 2000. So all taxes can be declared and paid online. And the tax authorities even have a designated email for non-residents where you can email and ask questions. On the picture here, I have e-residents from Ukraine who by today have their office right here in Tallinn with over 20 employees. And the reason why you want to think long term is how you're going to bring real business to Estonia is exactly because of this very competitive tax code that will support your company's development and growth over the years. These are just some of the ways how to start building more and more substance in Estonia, which will matter a lot when the question comes that where is your company really conducting its business activities? So these are just some of the things. You can read more about it on in our knowledge base and understand this topic a little bit better. One more thing we do from the e-residency team side is that we also want the companies to engage with our local ecosystem more and more. So when Estonian government is, for example, putting out the grant that's supporting deep tech companies or R&D projects, then e-residents are eligible to apply for all of those things just the same way as Estonian companies if they have this R&D physically here in Estonia. So the more you want to be integrated, the more use you want to get out of our business environment, the more physical business you want to bring to Estonia, actually. So we have put together a funding portal on the E-Residency website where you can find accelerators, incubators, VC funds, public grants, different ways of sandboxing your products, legal requirements, and all kinds of interesting ways of building your business. So check it out as well. And one more note to those that already have a quite big business, but that they want to expand to Estonia, is that we have a fast track for expanding entrepreneurs, not first-time founders. So if you are already doing 2 million euros of revenue in your home country and or you are exporting to 5 markets, and you have to hire in Europe within the next half year, or you have a client, investor, or a contract that's ready to sign in the EU, then you are actually able to get your e-residency processed faster. So for this, write down my email as the validation of those applicants who get to the fast track that goes through me. So something important to keep in mind as well. But this is all of the actual content. So I just have a few people here sharing their experiences. 10th of Estonia's unicorns is actually an e-resident founded company. So this is a Central and Latin American founders with a US background who decided to actually start their company from Estonia. By today, they have 4 offices, out of which 2 are in Estonia. So this is a good example of somebody seeing the benefits of Estonia and really physically building their digital product here. Then different investors are engaging with Estonia easily as well through E-Residency. And this is a German angel investor who has invested into 10 Estonia-based startups. And he first became an e-resident because of that. Today, he's actually on the board of one of Estonia's defense tech investment funds. So he's really actually now part of this ecosystem as well. And for a lot of foreign startup founders, according to the president of Estonian Business Angel Network, they see more and more that Estonia is like the Delaware of Europe, where startups actually register their either holding companies or headquarters instead of UK or the US. So these are just some of the real life comments and experiences from our partners. So let's see if there are any more tax questions that we can answer here physically today. Have you found? All right. So Simone wants to know if how to deal with a situation where there are cases where an online e-commerce can cause permanent establishment and running an Estonian company would be just an issue instead of solving anything. Maybe Britan and Katrin, between the two of you, you will have a good answer to that.
Yes, as discussed before already, the permanent establishment issue is complex, and it depends also whether you have B2B or B2C sales when you use your Estonian company. So, I mean, it depends, how much substance you also have in Estonia, because if you already have more substance in the other country and using Estonian company, then at some point the foreign tax authorities, they may say that you have the permanent establishment in that other country. And then, of course, you have to submit the accounts and pay the taxes in that other country. Although when you distribute this income to Estonia, it's totally tax-free, which what is called in the legal terms, it's called participation exemption. In Estonia, it's tax exempt, and you can pay out dividends from Estonia also tax-free. But you are taxed then, yes, corporate tax has to be paid in that other country if you are deemed to have a permanent establishment there. So you have to be really careful with this tax risk. and assess it as you do your business, talking to the local tax lawyers.
And I think one of the things, I guess, in e-commerce, if you want to take advantage of Estonia as a easy environment to do business the most, it also makes sense to actually ship goods and keep them in Estonia, because that would definitely help. Is that true, Katrin and Pritam?
Yeah, it helps if you have warehouse in Estonia, for instance.
All right, so this is then we have
But again,
question.
what kind of business? Now, I already explained that all legal activities are allowed.
Yeah, this is the question you already answered live, I think. So answer live. And okay, so do I understand correctly this question, that what he's asking is that they would like to meet somebody like you to help you with
Yes, that's correct. So please feel free to contact us, and you can have this office from us. Or if you need like to rent a real office, you want your own office, then we can also connect you to people who can help you in this respect.
So we answered this slide, and then Hatim has a more specific question again about planning to trade agricultural produce from various EU countries and employ staff in Spain and Holland. Does the employee pay their local taxes, or we can pay their taxes in Estonia?
When you employ people who are non-resident in Estonia and this job is performed outside of Estonia, there is no payroll tax in Estonia.
And if you and also from experience, I can say that probably like registering as a local employer in Spain is quite the hassle. So if there's only a few of those people, then we advise looking into different EOR services. EOR services are employer record services, which actually can help you hire people that are not in the same country as your company is located. On our marketplace, we have one of those called Deal, and you can find a good deal from Deal on our marketplace as well for e-resident founders. So something that I can recommend. All right, but I think we can stop here because we are over an hour a little bit already. But thank you everyone for joining. I really do hope that this was useful. And as I said in the beginning, we are going to share the slides with you in a follow-up email. We would love for you to give feedback to us. So when you get this email, please do provide your comments and your feedback to today's session. And if you would like to get in touch with me, then at the end of the slideshow, you will have a QR code to register for a individual session, call with me if you'd like. And Incorporate's contact details were also on one of the slides. So they are happy to take on your specific situation and help you solve it and choose the best way to structure your business through Estonia. So thank you all, and we are going offline now.